is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Bryan Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And it is day number 4 of Cowboys Camp 2019, day number 5 of Zeke Watch, because we count the travel day as a Zeke Watch day as well. Well, back on Thursday. It's a new week for all of you out there, and it's a new edition of Talkin Cowboys, the second for us here in this 2019 training camp. But the biggest news of all is they put on the pads today. That makes it a big day here.
I just wrote down PADS.
Pads.
Missouri education doing you well.
Finally.
Yes.
I don't think I could have watched another one of those. I'm sorry.
Did you get anything out of you were talking about earlier about guys lining up and rotations and stuff like that. So
and you could see where guys are, kind of where they are in the rotation, like who's first, second, or third, and that's all great. And in one day, though, I could do that. I don't know if I needed another day.
You can see that in the walkthrough too.
Yes.
So I mean, we've seen 2 of those.
Time for pads.
It's time to see these linemen go head to head. That's what
I'm
looking for.
The walkthrough is more valuable to me than the afternoon practice, because they lined up and you could see where they're playing different players
against
each other.
Not that they did anything.
Yeah, it was just skeleton stuff.
You know, the things I was getting out of the 2 practices that we watched were offensively were about spacing. We're about route combinations. We're seeing something different from Kellen Moore that we haven't seen before with Scott Linehan. To me, it seems like better route combinations as far as, I get now why they're running the slants running this, the outside guys running this. Okay, you got the back on the swing. Oh, wait, we got the tight end doing this. I'm starting to see things differently that way. If you want to just say, okay, just give me something to look at. I've noticed that Dak Prescott and these quarterbacks have had more area to throw. Again, we'll have defenders getting on these guys and stuff, and we'll see if those windows shrink. But at least I've seen spacing that I haven't seen before. And I think that in itself, we all talked about pre-snap motion. We've talked about different looks, moving personnel around, maybe using the fullback a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. But I've just noticed a little bit better of space for these receivers and Dak Prescott to get that ball into.
To your point, that was an emphasis Jason Garrett was making to the receivers yesterday. I mean, getting on them about their spacing, making sure it's precise. And I said something really interesting in the press conference yesterday, that he's acknowledged he's spending more time with that side of the ball than the defense. And when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Kellen Moore, all these coaches that are pretty, Mark Colombo, first-year guy, John Kitna, work with those guys because that's where the most change is on this roster.
In his second year here.
Right.
And then you look on the defensive side, they had pretty well established last year what they could do with the combination of Marinelli.
And the offensive skilled players better be in good shape, because as much motion as they're using.
Mickey's right.
They better not be tired by the time they have to get off the line of scrimmage, because they're using the line. You mentioned the fullback.
Right.
Yeah, and he better catch the ball like he's catching it out here when they throw it to him.
Not like he did against Indianapolis.
Mickey challenging early.
One chance.
But they've got
it was his one shot for glory.
He is not a stationary player. They've got him in the slot. They motion him to the fullback spot. They motion him out.
The first time we talked to Kellen Moore as the new OC in OTAs, the first guy that he named out of his mouth, Olawale, Mays. Very versatile in Oakland. Well, we didn't really see that last year, so maybe that's something different this year.
Well, what you're also seeing, too, yesterday, if you notice, is Jason Witten and Blake Jarwin playing wide and then all of a sudden motioning in. And so he's trying to create opportunities if you're one of those teams that will bump your best corner all the way to the tight end or all the way out to a back out there, and now you put a lesser player in on, say, Randall Cobb, or you put somebody lesser on Cooper. He's testing some theories here that, if I move, maybe he's getting ready for somebody in his mind that's going to bump that corner all the way out and I'm going to run this play when they put a lesser corner in there. But I've also noticed this, guys, when they run the boots and the waggles, what have we seen? We've always kind of seen a tight end drag, tight end over the top. He's using wide receivers for this. He's using. I mean, yesterday he ran a really nice little design, and I've seen Randall Cobb run this play in Green Bay, where he motions all the way outside, stops at the wing, and then comes all the way back across, and then Rodgers hits him for that thing. All of a sudden, you got all the trash inside. He's the defender's stuck, and now you got a guy,
a better run after catch
better run after the catch guy.
Exactly.
And that's where I think get a little bit more creative for me. Don't throw the ball to Dalton Schultz and he lumbers around for it's a play that could have gone for 25 yards, but it goes for 10 because you got a kind of a lumbery guy. Get the ball to a back or a receiver that can run after catch. They can run after catch and get you a bigger gain on the play.
And I think a lot of people think because Kellen Moore is young, we're going to have this Sky Wars offense.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Sky Wars.
I saw that movie too.
Sky Wars.
1977.
I wish Kent could hear that right now.
Sky Wars.
God bless him. Yeah.
He might be listening.
He might be.
Yes,
like everybody else out there should be listening every morning at 9 o'clock.
There you go.
A lot of two tight end offense too.
Yeah.
And Blake Jarwin is incorporated to this deal.
Yeah.
And I think it's a neat deal because Blake Jarwin has shown he can get downfield, which will open up
Good eyes,
underneath
Mickey.
for
Good eyes.
Witten. So, don't think that this is like 2025 offense. This is back to two tight ends.
Which gets back to a lot of people were concerned with Witten, who are Witten critics. That
progress stopper.
You can't get him off the field, and that sort of thing. But they're going to have the two tight end formation just like they've had in the past, and so.
And then what you hope is Jarwin can block also. Like he got better. Has he gotten better at it? We'll start finding out.
Yeah.
All right, so last night Jerry Jones did his little TV
How'd that go?
car wash.
It went very well for Bill. I got to at least listen to that one.
Oh, you did?
Bill's a pro.
Well, thank you.
Well,
you weren't there for it when it happened, were you? Or were you?
Dish
He was hiding behind the trash can.
Dish anywhere.
Okay. Oh, so you don't have DirecTV or
no? Yeah, but they're
AT&T,
limiting my my Ranger games.
Okay. Well,
aside
from that,
Jerry, break it down for us.
But the reason I brought that up is that CBS is not being carried by AT&T, Uverse, and DirecTV right now. I thought I'll let you also say what you thought the most interesting thing from Jerry was, but in regard to Zeke, he brought up the fact that even though my question to him, you have limited time. We had 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
And by
so
the way, they got a stopwatch on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because what they do is they had all 4 local Dallas-Fort Worth stations, they had 3 San Antonio stations do it. So, I mean, Jerry was sitting there at the gazebo area here at the Residence Inn for an hour straight just talking to a car wash of different sportscasters that came through. I was the 4th in line. See, there's no real chance for follow-ups if you want to get every topic in that you want in 6 minutes with Jerry. But the interesting thing I thought with Zeke was, the question I asked him was, is Zeke to this Cowboys team what Emmett was to the Cowboys team of the 90s? And he took it and ran with it as far as the Super Bowl goes. Right off the bat, said, well, the difference is Emmett won a Super Bowl, multiple Super Bowls. One of the things, though, that I found most interesting in his answer in regards to the negotiations with the Zeke team is that it's been proven over time that you don't have to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl.
He did point that out prominently after he pointed out that Emmitt Smith was the first NFL rushing champion to win a Super Bowl.
Right. He was the first NFL rushing champion to win a Super Bowl, and he was rather emphatic when he said that.
Yes.
But he said, but it's been proven over time that you do not need a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. And his point is, we're building a Super Bowl team, and when we allocate funds to all these players, we have to have enough money to field an entire team.
Should we question the selection of Zeke Elliott 3-4 years ago?
No.
Why not?
Why not?
I don't question it because he's such a good player.
Have you guys watched him perform these last 3 years?
Then why not extend him?
They will extend him. but not probably for. We don't know what they're asking for.
Sure.
Right?
No, I'm just saying.
And that's what Jerry's point was, I think. It wasn't the point you don't need a star running back. It was we need other things, too. It can't just be the running back.
I'm on board with that. I'm one of the guys who'd like to see Zeke get an extension.
So what you need to find out is what are they asking for?
Okay,
this is turning into the same discussion we had with DeMarcus Lawrence. It's the same thing. There's an impasse. Well, we don't really know how far apart they are.
Right.
And then it comes to your point, yeah.
What Jerry did allude to was he's got a plan in place to avoid a holdout that will last into the regular season.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Well, that's good because
good.
I'm with Bryan. They need to re-sign. I lost my train. Where I was going was in terms of DeMarcus wanted a certain amount. Stephen Jones's point was, look, we're trying, like to what you said, Bill, we're trying to build a Super Bowl. We need to spread it around. And D. Law said, that's not my problem.
That's not my problem. That's your problem. Yeah.
I'm been to 2 Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
And Zeke's argument, I'm not talking to him right now, but his argument is I should probably be a 3-time rushing champ right now. I'm the best back in the NFL. So how do you meet in the middle? Now, Lawrence and the Cowboys eventually did, but there's an impasse right now based on market value.
And to your point, they'll meet in the middle.
They will meet,
but
no one's budging right now.
Yeah, but if this turned into something, and I'm glad to hear you say that he had a plan, because if this is going to turn into Zeke being stubborn and hold out the entire year,
that's the concern.
Then now you're in a situation. You're absolutely. I'm just saying, as far as team building, I'm with you, Mickey. Get as many great players as you can. This has turned into it's a great situation to have, but it's also a curse. You have to sign all these guys, and all these guys do make Pro Bowls and are all pro and do help you win football games. But I'm just saying, though, if it's a situation where your attitude is we've won Super Bowls without it's proven that a great running back is not the recipe. If that's our attitude, then you should have drafted someone else. You should have said, okay, we could take a good running back, not a great running back at 4. We could take a good running back at 57 or at 62 or at whatever.
I don't question it, to answer your question, Bryan, because
I'm glad they drafted him.
Yeah, because one, he is the best back in the league, arguably. He's lived up to that moniker or that draft status. Number 2, at the time, why they drafted him, the shape of the roster was to help an aging Tony Romo.
No question.
And your defense was not at close to the level it is right now. They wanted to milk the clock, basically, and play keep away that way. And he was perfect for both sides of the ball. And, he's still kind of the foundation of what they're doing offensively, I imagine, when he gets back.
It'll get done.
You wonder if there is a compromise position on a shorter-term contract that can get him.
I'm starting to hear that around the league, talking to people at night, that these guys that are looking for contracts are looking for shorter-term deals because of the CBA, because of the unknown of the CBA.
Right.
And so if guys are taking shorter-term deals, Rob, you're the NBA guy here. We've seen guys take shorter contracts to get to free agency quicker. They sign, 1 or 2 year deals or something like that.
Yeah, or anticipating a cap spike.
Exactly. So there's a lot of guys around the league that are thinking that, okay, the new collective bargaining agreement there's going to be a big jump, and I don't want to be caught behind that jump. So maybe by what you're saying, there is, to Mickey's point,
rather
too,
than
as well.
the Gurley deal.
Yeah, instead of a 6-year deal, there's a 2-3 year deal that you could kind of work on to get to the next level.
But I'm guessing a running back wants that long-term deal.
Yeah, I would
say.
There's no question.
Right.
I mean, we had a great mailbag question yesterday about that. Should running backs, because of the way they're devalued, as they say, and I'm not one of the devaluers. I think a running back is hugely important, if that's a right word to describe a running back. But the question was, should running backs get more guaranteed money in their first couple of years of your deal? But how do you do that?
Well, my answer is a great thought. But
it is a great thought.
My answer was, how do you determine what's the most punishing position? You could say it's running back, but linebackers would say, oh, it's us.
Yeah.
We're in a car crash every day. So. But it's interesting because that is the prevailing thought.
Is it
that
just
the position
first-round
is
running backs?
Right.
Is it first-round running backs, or do you have to prove your worth after the first year to get that bump?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, it was a good question, I thought.
If you look at Zeke, though, if you give him a 3-year deal, that means he plays through 24, 25, and 26. The last thing you want to do as a running back is hit free agency at 27.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
You would rather say, okay, I made it to 29, and okay, if I don't, but I got my money. They're just going to have to guarantee him enough money that he says, I'll take all that, and I won't worry about the end number. The end number is insignificant. It's how much guarantee money you get, and maybe you guarantee the whole thing if that's the way to do
that
it.
quarterback in Minnesota.
On a shorter-term deal.
Deal. That's what they did with the guy,
maybe
Cousins.
I give you four years for $50 million, and you say, okay, and it's all guaranteed.
Yeah,
that's pretty good because he is.
I wonder how much of Gurley's was guaranteed. I got to look that up.
I just know it was
55.
It was 14 something per year, but I don't know.
Right,
the
I got to look at the guarantee on
it. And he right now, if they just came back and played between the money he would make this year, next year, and 2 franchise tags, he would be guaranteed $44 million. Over 4 years. Now that's only $11 million a year.
You're going to have to up that,
but it's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
Todd Gurley's is 45 guaranteed.
Yeah.
So 4 year, his is 4 years, $57.5 million, signed a year ago at this time, and guaranteed at signing was 21.9. Total guarantee $45 million.
Right.
So.
Okay, and you don't know what the back end of the base salaries are, and again. They have to adhere to the 30% rule on the base salaries. And that complicates this thing because you can't hide it all in a couple years.
Here's the back end of the base salary. It's at his last year, 2023, is $7.4 million with a $5 million roster bonus. So that's $12 million basically on his last year.
Because to your point about isn't DeMarcus's first year base pretty low?
It's $1.5 million, and then it goes to $16 million next year.
Right.
Well, you can't do that between 2020 and 2021.
Right.
So
that's where you're getting at.
The structure is important too, and you hope the agent understands what the structure part of this is, because unless there is a new CBA before 2020. Then, and again, it runs through 2020, but if they don't get ahead of it, then you got to adhere to that 30% rule.
Are we more worried about Zeke's off the field or his health in a long-term deal?
Ooh. I think naturally you are more concerned about the health of a running back. But it was proven here with Emmett that a running back can stay healthy.
Adrian Peterson.
And Zeke has shown so far that he is healthy as can be, it appears. He
has not missed a game due to injury, correct? And
I'm thinking of guys like Eddie George that played 10 years, productive backs and stuff like that. I think I would be more worried if I was a Cowboy fan or the front office. I think I'd be more worried about the off-field than I would the health myself.
Right.
But think about it. The really good running backs, like not just a running back, I mean the top-level running backs, usually they're not bothered by injury.
They're not.
Right?
They're not.
You don't see a
Eric
running
Dickerson.
back tear an ACL,
Yeah.
Well,
right?
but with
Peterson.
Gurley now Gurley's got a knee
but
issue.
he had issues.
Don't yell. Don't. I got sensitive ears.
Sorry, hopefully nobody in my room can hear me.
I got sensitive ears.
Gurley had knee problems before. Right,
He's got a tendonitis issue.
That's why he lasted as long as he did in the draft, because of the knee problems at Georgia, and he had already had his knees operated on. So you got to take that into consideration.
Again, Adrian Peterson
he lasted all the way to the 10th pick.
Yeah.
Well, he should have been higher.
He's
right?
one of my.
Should have been fourth.
He's one of my favorite. If you gave me a choice between him and Zeke, I'd take Gurley.
Yeah.
Now,
even with the injury.
Oh, coming out of school?
No, I'm saying right now.
Oh no! I would take Zeke, but coming out of college when I was watching it too.
Now, to your point, Brian, back in the offseason earlier when the Vegas thing happened, the Joneses said that's not affecting these negotiations. But you're saying just the possibility of something else coming up in the future that could be a concern.
See, that's where I would. But see, Rob and I were at the Combine, and Steven talked about this very thing about this contract, and he mentioned Gurley.
Yep.
And if you're listening, you're going, okay, this is where we're at. Now, again, Mickey, you've been here doing this 1,000 years. You've heard the Joneses say things, and they've done another. I mean, I get that. That's part of it. But that got my attention. I know the day that we were at the Combine, we said, okay, if that's where it's going to start.
Which is where it's got to
start. It's going to start,
yeah.
And so now all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, Mickey's coming up with a really good plan of guaranteeing stuff, trying to get that thing somewhere between $10 and $11 million a year. Well, that's not Gurley. That's something else.
Yeah, and I think, was it Charles Robinson for Yahoo had a story yesterday that, and this is all sourced, and a lot of it's around the league information, that teams with good backs are trying to reset that market.
Yeah.
And not have it start at 14 plus. But that's easier said than done when you're Zeke and you're saying, well, I've been to, I'm a 3-time rushing champ, possibly, had I not been suspended 6 games.
They look at the deal that Kevin Dimoff did in Los Angeles and Les Snead as a bad one. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to reset it to really what Freeman with Atlanta. Guys.
Freeman, it was like $8 million. Yeah. Maybe it's for a Zeke, it's got to be more than that.
No, but I mean, they're thinking about everybody's saying, wow, that's a terrible deal. But that's not the agents. That's not their fault. The Rams are the ones that did that deal.
And remember what Jerry's longest answer was.
Oh, yeah.
On Friday.
Yeah.
No question.
About,
no question.
This is us.
We
have our own list.
No question.
We don't have the Rams.
You're absolutely
we don't
right.
have the Raiders.
Or the Eagles with the Wentz deal.
Yeah. And so that's the bottom line, and it seems like they're holding strong to it.
They sure
Because
are.
I guarantee you that's what's going on with Melvin Gordon now with the Chargers. He's looking at Gurley and saying, okay, I'm your guy. Yeah. Now I want to be paid like that.
Well, we have seen in history, though, with the Dez Bryant deal, was it Demaryius Thomas, that once Dez Bryant got his deal, Demaryius Thomas signed for basically the same number right behind him. So we could say that we're not looking, but when those numbers come across Adam Pacifica's desk or Stephen Jones's desk and they go, that's a creative way to do that. Okay, let's try this plan right here.
One of the things they may be looking at also on Gurley's deal, where it was a bad deal, is the timing of it by doing it with 2 years left on the deal, which is where Zeke is right now. But their cap
situation's different than what the Cowboys' cap situation.
All right, so how confident is Jerry that a Dak deal will get done very soon? We explore that and much more here on Talkin Cowboys when we continue in a moment.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
You want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean, fish living there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
We are back on Talking Cowboys. Only one of us has headsets on, and now all four of us have headsets on. And yes, Bryan.
No, I finish up. I was going to, I always have to thank the folks on.
No, well, you start thanking. Thank away.
I will. Thanks to the folks that hang out with us on the Periscopes. They hang out with all the shows, do all our content. Make sure today, like Mickey was talking about all the pads and stuff. Our good videos are up. Training Camp Live will be up today too. Stories. I know Mickey probably got something going on. But thanks to everybody on DallasCowboys.com, and then thanks to the folks that follow us in the morning shows on the Periscope.
Fox Sports Southwest.
Yeah, we appreciate
Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Cowboys.
I was watching those before coming out
Appreciate
here.
you, yeah.
When did those started? Like a couple of days before camp.
3 days.
3 days
we
before.
left.
I was watching.
Yeah.
It's good.
They air after the Rangers
Ranger games.
post-game show.
Now tonight there's no Ranger game, and so I don't.
So we
no
must
idea.
be early then.
Yeah, I have no idea when that would
Probably
be.
8 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And by the way, we ought to thank
Yeah,
the Divot Patrol.
Camp Divot. Yeah, you knew Mickey would be on this. Mickey is on Divot Patrol himself, and the Divot Patrol is out there replacing divots out on the field.
Well, they're putting sand in the
That's replacing
divot.
divots.
Yeah, it's like the golf course, right?
That's
the
right.
driving range after I walked down it.
So there you have it. That's the latest from Cowboys camp. Cowboys will be out on the field. When will it be? An hour from now?
10:45.
Yeah.
Special teams practice this
Yes,
morning.
12:45 Dallas time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Where the special teams walk through. Yes.
No, I'm sorry, I keep pointing at you. Sean Lee involved with special teams.
How about
That's
that?
right.
Sean Lee
personal protector guy.
said and also a right guard.
Oh, there we
So
go.
he's lining up next to the deep snapper,
Yep.
protecting and then going down trying to make tackles. Now, not with the first team,
Right.
but for depth purposes in case they need him.
Yeah.
And he kind of volunteered and said, "Okay, well, I'm
Comes
not
with
going
the
to play
territory.
as many snaps, so you got to have depth." And so he's doing both of those right now, and he hadn't done it since his second year in the league. Special teams.
Notice a lot of Tony Pollard too. They're trying to get him incorporated.
They're mixing him with some ones.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't have to be Darius Jackson every day here while Zeke's gone. Can I just add one other thing about Sean Lee? Did you hear what he said yesterday about reporting to camp?
Yes.
He flew back from California where he already was, taking a little
He's got
respite.
a place here.
Not too far from here. Yeah.
Flew back to Dallas so he could fly back to California with his team because that's a special moment, and this is his 10th year, and that's just kind of how he is, man. I thought that was
Took all his stuff
His
back.
quote-
not logistically
his
sound, but that's what he wants to do.
His
and it's
quote
really
was,
cool.
"I flew home to fly back," and
That's the
Sean
essence
Lee.
of Sean Lee.
Right. Yeah.
But he's great.
And if you had been watching our Cowboys training camp update on Fox Sports Southwest, you'd have learned about that on Friday.
So
There's another reason to check out.
You didn't have to wait till Sunday.
Yeah, but you would
Brad
not have heard,
Sham was all over it.
But you would not have heard Sean talking about it like we
Right.
heard him at
Oh,
practice.
no.
And he was great talking about it.
Right.
And just talking about this is about building a team. And it starts in the offseason.
That interview was on Friday, by the way.
But it starts. The interview happened yesterday.
No, it happened with us on Friday.
Mickey, for the love of God, all right? We heard from the guy himself yesterday.
Well, we heard from him on Friday. That was my point. You didn't have to wait till Sunday.
So, but he was talking about the fact that, hey, you're on that flight, you're talking trash with your teammates. This is about building a team. And you haven't seen your teammates for 5 weeks for the most part, and so this is a chance to reconnect, and it's all a part of the whole process, the journey that they hope will wind up. Where's Super Bowl this year?
Miami.
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 Yeah. Robert Quinn reminded us that yesterday.
Yeah.
He would like to return to Miami in the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah. Robert Quinn, an interesting talk too.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he kind of said, "Hey, the question was asked about the Super Bowl. And that's how we were reminded it was in Miami." He basically said, "Hey, we're all trying to get to one place. That's the Super Bowl. That's all that
back
matters."
where
He
I
goes,
came from.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Hey, what do you think about the season?" He goes, "It doesn't matter. It's all about getting to the Super Bowl. It's all about getting to Miami." I'm starting to hear that a little bit more among people in the organization, about championships and podiums and Super Bowls and stuff. That always kind of been something it was kind of a little secret, that you really didn't talk a whole heck of a lot about. But some people in prominent places are kind of talking about it more. Maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Expectations
Maybe
and
not to drink the Kool-Aid, but
no.
Look at the roster. I mean, Right now the NFL Network every night is revealing the next 10 on the NFL Top 100 as voted on by the players, and the Cowboys will have 8 players on that list, which is the highest of any team in the league. The only one that we don't know where he ranks is Zeke. They're into the top 30 now, and Zeke's somewhere in the top 30. Hadn't been revealed yet. But,
did Dak make the top 100?
Dak is not in the top 100. On defense, it was Byron Jones, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, and DeMarcus Lawrence.
Right.
And on offense, you got Zeke, Tyron, Zach,
Amari.
and Amari.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the offensive players are all in the top 64. I think Cooper was 64 or something, or 61, something like that. And the defensive players, the highest one's Lawrence at 45. But when you think look at this roster. You got those 8 players. And that's not even including Travis Frederick, a former Pro Bowler,
right. Jason
Witten, an 11-time Pro Bowler, who we'll
right.
see what level he's playing at as he plays this year. Dak's been in the Pro Bowl. Randall Cobb's been in the Pro Bowl, and Robert Quinn's been in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
I mean, so there's 5 more players.
Which goes to Jerry's point about I have a list. You got to pay all those guys.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to empty the bank just for one player.
And not just the top guys, but just the overall depth on paper looks really good. I was talking to Rod Marinelli about that yesterday. I asked him, is this the deepest group you've had on your D-line? He said yes. And he said there's really – you get past Lawrence and maybe Quinn, and there's very minimal difference between the first team to the third team on your defensive line. And you got – I mean, you're 16 guys, and you got to cut it down to 8 to 10. That's going to be really interesting.
All right. Jerry, in one of the interviews I saw that was posted online with the San Antonio station, went so far as to say – I was trying to get him to say this, and maybe I listed off all these players, and the San Antonio station did the interview right after me. And
gave him time to think about it.
Got him time to think about it, I think. And he actually said in that interview that I think we've got the best roster maybe ever, which I think he got
a little carried away.
Got a little carried away.
This century?
Maybe he meant this century.
Yeah.
Maybe ever as in – so I didn't hear the whole context of it. Maybe the question was, since you've been coming to Oxnard, whatever. I don't know.
We might have to go back to 93.
93 was pretty good. 95.
That's where he got a little
I don't know. I was
away.
in Green Bay and got my ass kicked a bunch by a roster.
93 and 94 might have been their best rosters.
Yeah. I don't.
Even though they didn't go to the Super Bowl
I
in
don't
94.
disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all.
San Francisco had a pretty good roster, too.
Yep.
They did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
And Jerry came right out and said that they're going to get the Dak contract done. He didn't say when, but it's going to get done. I think that's fairly obvious.
And
you think that'll happen during camp?
They'll get Amari done. If they get Amari done first, that opens up more room on the cap for this year, because he's counting $14 million.
Yeah.
And if they can do the deal like they did with DeMarcus, then that base salary this year will be pretty low. And instead of all $14 million counting, even if he counted against the cap 14, I mean, they can reduce the prorated signing bonus. So that one, if they get that done, then it creates more room.
I was dead wrong. I thought Dak was going to get done before training camp.
Yeah.
I had that feeling like it, okay, making progress. He's here every day, kind of, that kind of. But
they weren't even talking.
I didn't get that vibe, but
they weren't
talking.
No, they weren't even talking.
It seemed like there weren't. It wasn't close, but this is the time. This is the time Stephen Jones likes to get here and roll his sleeves up, and it always seems like at least one guy gets done. So
but you could talk to him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If Zeke was here, maybe they could talk to him.
See, I guess my feeling because of Dak was because that one was going to be the domino that got all the other ones. I think the reason I know that Zeke, his holdout is not about Dak. It's more about like Amari. We talk about the seat at the table thing.
Yeah.
People were saying to me, it's like he just wants to be recognized as one of the guys, and his camp knows that Dak needs to get done. I think if Dak gets done, then you'll see the Amari. Then maybe you'll see the Zeke. I think it's the opposite. I think if Dak's deal gets done first, that will get because to me that takes a big chunk of the pie.
Just the sheer size.
And now if you're an agent, you're sitting there thinking, if we're going to get money, we got to go now. We got to get before this thing. That's why poor Byron Jones is getting squeezed.
Well, Stevens already said, he made a comment, and I don't know when it was, but it was either the mini camp or the OTAs.
Sign everybody.
No, he said about when he was asked about Byron Jones, he said, I think we would like to see that.
Yeah.
Meaning, was that a one-year deal, or can we see that again from him before we extend him? But when you look at Dak's deal, he's going to count $2 million against the cap this year. If you sign him the deal, it ain't going to be $2 million this year.
No.
So you got to take that into consideration.
They did have talks with Jones's camp during the combine, Byron's camp, but he's coming off the hip surgery. They think he's ready for week 1, but I guess maybe you're saying maybe it's a little like the D-Law thing, like I'm
going to see you
great
do it
season,
again.
do it again, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's only 1 year for him at corner, right? I mean.
But he was originally in that group of guys that
he was.
Yeah, they kept throwing his name in there. But when I heard Steven say that, I was like, oh, okay, that's probably not a bad plan. And by the way, when you were talking about special teams, I was going to throw this in there. They let both kickers kick already.
Yep.
Redfin went yesterday. He made 5 of 6.
Red who?
Redfin.
Casey
Redfin.
How do you say it? Redfin?
Red fern. Where the red fern
Where
grows.
the red fern grows, Mick.
There's an R in there?
Yes.
There is.
Come on, Mick. Let's go. We're here. It's
Just
camp.
remember, it's where the red fern grows.
We said we were going to chart all this year. We're not going to not pay attention to kicking.
This says REDFEM.
It's Casey with a K,
it's
red fern.
RN.
Well, this says M here.
Let me see that. Check his vision.
No.
It's red fern.
Look, Mick.
There's an R in there?
Big font.
It's not an M. That's an RN. That is an M.
That is an M, right?
Okay,
thank you very much.
Yeah, it's.
I got these on for
this
a
is
reason.
a taste of our life with him. He won't ever admit he's wrong about anything.
That's what it says.
It's somebody else's fault.
Yep.
All right. So, did you chart the kicks?
5 for 6.
5 for 6 for Redfern,
and 5 for 6 for.
So we have a tie right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Although at least his Myers hit the right upright.
And it was a pretty stiff wind too, right?
Yeah.
Friday.
The ball.
Well, yeah.
The ball looked like my drive
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Maher's going to miss a kick, it's typical of what he's going to miss. It's going to start.
It's going to go to the right.
It's going to go to the right. It's going to go right at the upright. It's either going to go over or inside or hit the upright. And that's exactly what he did.
What was the distance on that one? Were you guys charting
47 yards?
It was his last one,
yeah,
so it was probably
yards.
47.
Yeah,
I didn't see where Casey's miss was.
Okay, speaking of the kickers.
So you think they'll kick today?
I hope
special teams, probably not.
Because they won't have probably LP gets a day off.
Yeah.
All right, so.
We'll see.
All right, we're going to toss to break when we can, but I want to
Bill
get this
is
in
mid-thought.
right now. Okay. How about the decision last year, Dan Bailey versus Brett Maher?
Yeah.
It was bold, but it was an accurate one.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
as long as Maher is stronger down the stretch this year than he was last year.
Even don't take into account
right.
Don't take into account anything beyond right now. Even just for last year, that was the right decision to make, as it turned out.
Yeah, because Bailey struggled in Minnesota.
Yep. Minnesota. Yep.
Sure All right, we continue with more Talking Cowboys in a moment.
If you're like me and you love, if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just
get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And we're talking Jack Black, of course, and Broadus, you'll love this.
Yes, sir.
This is called Steel Week at Jack Black.
Steel, like the metal?
5-piece Steel Week set for only $40, a $77 value, and it includes Cool Moisture Body Lotion,
there we go.
True Volume Thickening Shampoo, which we all need. That might
some more than others.
Might help you out.
Some more than others.
Pure Clean Daily Facial Cleanser, Double Duty Face Moisturizer, Sunscreen,
That's
and
a real plus.
This is what Bryan really likes: the Charcoal Body Bar of Soap.
Big fan of that.
And if
Big
you
fan of
get
that.
this for $40, it's free shipping. Go
Do
to
that.
getjackblack.com.
A charcoal body bar of
Yeah.
soap.
Yes,
Yep, it is. It's
and
like
it's
using
got those. It's one of those things that has all the little bumps on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it massages you too.
Oh, okay. I need to get that.
Rob, we can use that on your back, maybe.
Okay.
Help you out.
Sure.
Being we all have roommates, right?
Yeah.
Vicky,
Yeah. Dave can help me out with that.
Vicky, you help him out with that.
Yeah. No, thanks. I'm good.
It was an award-winning show until that moment.
2 quick things. Casey Redfern, nice and legible in the media guide. Redfern.
Well, why did I look at the roster then?
And Bryan, have you made the announcement on the show about your hair decision?
Oh, I didn't know we needed to go into that detail.
Okay.
I'm not cutting my hair for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know. I remember you saying that,
Yeah.
and we're not making much progress either.
No, here. That's what I'm saying. We'll see in 5 months' time.
I can't wait. And
I could look like Bozo the Clown. You remember Bozo where his hair was going that way?
Yeah.
It could be that. Very well be
This
that.
thing I'm looking forward to most about this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
management approved, so I'm all for it.
You know, George Dunham at the tickets getting a mohawk.
What?
He lost the bet.
He lost a bet when the Cowboys were 3-5, I guess, last year. He made a bet that Jason Garrett wouldn't be back for this year or something like that.
Yeah,
And
some
lost
stupid
that.
things I do.
He lost that bet, and so I think it's the week of the season opener. They're going to make a big to-do about it, and he's going to get he's going to have a mohawk all season long.
Is he going to do it out? Oh, he's not going to do it out here?
No, it's back
But
in
we
Dallas.
encourage you to listen to 105.3.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I lost.
He's
my,
a former Cowboy PA guy.
There you go.
So
Yeah, there you go.
I lost my mustache in training camp, losing a bet.
Did you really?
1990.
What was the bet?
Jesse Solomon was holding out on his contract, and I talked to him the night before, and he said I'm showing up tomorrow. And I said, well, how do I know that? And I said, because you've been saying you're going to show up. He goes, I've got the ticket right here in my hand. I'm showing up tomorrow. So I got in an argument, and I made a bet that he'll be here tomorrow. And, of course, he didn't show up.
Oh, my.
So on Dale Hansen's Sports Special on Sunday night, I shaved off my mustache.
We encourage you to watch CBS 11.
We encourage you to watch CBS 11.
Well, I can't change the story.
Aiden Henson is a
and that's what we
former
do.
Cowboys
And that's
announcer.
what we do in this country, right? We change our history because we didn't like it doesn't fit now.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And we tried to convince the bartender at the hotel we were staying for the week because we were in San Diego. They practiced there for a week.
La Jolla.
She looked just like the Nakazima girl. It was Farrah Fawcett, and we were going to have her do it, and she didn't trust us. She didn't believe we were telling the truth.
Of course not. Talk to you for 10 minutes, you'd see that.
No, somebody else was trying to convince her, not me.
All right, Rob, I need that media guide for one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the cover of the Cowboys media guide for this year.
Not a quarterback this year.
It's
or,
not a
or
quarterback.
Or an owner.
There it is. Marcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
Tank Lawrence is on the cover of the media guide. And by the way, I mentioned Jerry Jones did the little car wash interviews. Well, the $105 million man also did it at the gazebo last night after the Jerry interviews. And so I brought a media guide with me.
Yes, Bill was right on the spot.
And the first question I asked DeMarcus is, have you seen this? And I could not believe it. He had not seen the media guide and seen him on the cover. And what was his reaction? He looked at it, and he looked pleased, but he said, I wish they would have photoshopped it to make my biceps bigger. In my opinion, it looks like it already is photoshopped. His biceps are so big.
Right,
yeah.
When's the last defensive player for the Cowboys that's been on the cover of a media
I was going to look that up, and I didn't.
Maybe DeMarcus Ware? I have to go back and look.
Ware probably was.
Maybe DeMarcus Ware. Usually the quarterback or the owner, something like that.
Sometimes it's generic with just a star.
Exactly.
If that's coming off a 5-11 season. They had 3 straight star media guides back in the early aughts.
For now, highest paid player in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, right?
That's right.
Not worried about him, right? Not worried about him at all with getting ready before that Wednesday before the Giants game kind of a thing?
He'll be ready.
All indications from Stephen Jones said week 1.
How many questions did he get about what's he going to do with all his money?
I'm not sure. I didn't stay for all the interviews.
Like 6?
Yeah, yeah. But in talking with you, when you really dig into his background and just where he came from, a small town in South Carolina, and really about his parents and how they instilled a work ethic in him, where all the other kids were all the other kids were off doing whatever, and they made him do chores around the house. I mean, heavy lifting stuff.
How about going all the way from South Carolina to Boise, Idaho?
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot, because usually, if you do have a mom and dad that's kind of on you, so maybe he said, I got to get out of here. Maybe that's what he said.
But he wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school.
That's what I'm saying, though. The fact that sometimes you make those trips where you end up in some really strange places in your life, but it helps you get to that next level. And that's, I think, Boise, we've seen what Boise has done as far as the number of players, not just here, but around the league that they've put players in.
And the other thing with him is he admits that he didn't take academics seriously.
Yeah.
So he actually made a stop at Butler Community College in Kansas on his way to Boise.
Right.
And I think it was after that he did have offers from big schools closer to home, but he decided to go to Boise.
Got to go.
Yeah.
He was nearly halfway there.
Yeah, that's right.
He made it to Kansas.
And
same thing with DeMarcus Ware, right? He has to go to Troy, because he wasn't a defensive end; he was a tight end.
Well, and that's right. And he was like a 210-pound. He played tight end and defensive end in high school, 210 pounds. And I think DeMarcus Ware was a 195-pound wide receiver / linebacker or whatever he was at Troy, in Troy, Alabama, know.
Great player.
Yeah.
Film was good.
But the other thing about this is, all of us here, if we were on the cover of a media guide for whatever team that we played for, don't you think we'd know about it?
Oh,
don't you think that you would?
Well, there's things that these players are not oblivious to.
They're away from the team too while they're finishing this. So
what they see more than anything else is the program, the game program.
Yeah,
tickets
because they put them in their lockers on Sunday,
right.
And when they get in there early and they get nothing to do, They read the program.
You know what?
I got called out about something. I go, where in the world would you have seen that? Oh, I read it before the game.
Scouting report. Nothing like the scouting report, yeah.
Get in your iPad. What? You read the –
I've done Mickey's comment. I've done opponent scouting report, and guys I know around the league have read it and say, man, you got our team right. And I've had a couple say, man, what are you talking about? That kind of thing. So,
funny.
They read those little scouting reports.
But think about it. That didn't come out to a couple of days before we left.
They're finishing that month
off. I would imagine they told him
it.
that he was going to be on the media guide. He probably, he's probably hasn't ever looked at a media guide to even know what it was.
Yeah. You should have got him to sign it.
Well, no, we
no
can't.
autographs.
We don't
Did
do
you
autographs.
Hear Rich Dalrymple said?
Yes, we do not
that was
do
one of
autographs.
Rich's criteria.
I don't do autographs anyway. Yeah. The only time I've ever done autographs was one time when I was a Rangers broadcaster, and the first Ranger game I ever did, Warren Newson I was at Tiger Stadium. Warren Newson hits a foul ball that almost decapitated me. It came back into the press box, and it whizzed by my right ear and knocked the air conditioning, thermostat off the wall behind me at Tiger Stadium. And I kept that baseball. Throughout the entire season. We're checking out of the team hotel, our last road trip of the year, and lo and behold, Warren Newson is in front of me checking out of the hotel. I got it out of my briefcase and said, Warren, I haven't asked for an autograph from a player since I was 8 years old. Will you sign this for me? And I still got it.
By God, you almost killed me.
First Major League Baseball game I ever broadcast in my life.
Very good.
Yeah. The other thing, though, on this, these professional athletes are wired so differently than the rest of mankind.
Sure.
And they have so much more in their vision than what I would be like if, it was a big deal for me when I was in high school, getting some honor as a high school basketball player.
Plano Star Courier. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, all district or whatever it might be.
It's
nothing to them.
Nothing.
They don't care about that stuff.
Just take a picture and put it on
now,
Instagram,
they do care,
and they would have seen it.
They do care if their Madden rating is 89.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all their buddies play the game, too, and they're like, what the hell's up with that?
Instagram,
and he's got a point on that, too.
Instagram. They would have seen it.
Are you on Instagram?
No.
All right.
You're on Twitter, though.
I wouldn't even know how to do it.
All right, so.
Or what you put on it.
We got pads on today.
Yes.
Okay. What are we looking for as we don the pads for the first time?
You think they're going to let the linemen go at each other the first day?
Sure.
Offense.
How about Travis Frederick? Let's start there.
Yeah,
let's start there.
Let's start with Travis Frederick.
You think they'll let him do it first
day? I hope so. Need to check on that between practices, but yeah, I think that they would like to think that Travis, he's been doing all the other stuff.
Garrett said full go, and then we'll kind of see how it goes.
See how he feels.
Yeah.
You got Antoine Woods back in there playing. And
by the way, 303 pounds. He lost the weight that Marinelli told him to lose.
Right.
And when I talked to Rod yesterday, and he goes, "Yeah, I could actually see he has some definition of muscle in his arm. It's not just flabbing around."
Yeah, we'll
see. I lost 30 pounds in the last year and a half, and I got no
Come
definition.
on!
But the thing with Frederick, I think that's something that we're going to, need to keep an eye on. How about Connor Williams being 320 pounds now?
Is he 320?
320 on Connor Williams.
Wow.
So
I'm not going to look
I
at the
saw
roster
him and Zach Martin.
That's accurate.
I saw him and Zach Martin walking off the field together yesterday,
yeah.
and there wasn't a whole lot of difference.
Connor
there.
looks like a different guy.
Connor
Williams
is a completely different guy. So yeah, keep an eye on Connor Williams at left guard now.
I'll just echo what Rod said yesterday. He wants to see Robert Quinn and Tyron Smith
go at it. That's another good one, too.
I want to see that, too.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
This roster had him at 310.
No.
All right, throw it away. Throw it away.
Can't spell things right.
You threw it down. Who's going to pick up that trash?
I will do it on
somebody.
No, Dak Prescott will.
Somebody's getting paid.
Dak Prescott will come by and pick up that trash because that's what Dak does.
You're a terrible.
He does.
Yeah, I'm sure I disagree with that.
I'm helping the economy out.
Okay, I'll pick it up then.
All right.
All right, we're almost out of time. We're getting off at 9:55.
Yeah, we are. We got to get for the next show,
which is 11:55 Dallas time, and that's what it is right now. 9:55. We'll talk at you again tomorrow here on Talkin Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!